Hi folks, Coach Wade here. I'm going to be talking today about our third in the Knots to Know series, our third knot, which is the square knot. Before I teach you to tie it, I'm going to tell you why I teach it and then also give you a couple of cautionary points about the square knot. Square knot's a really common knot, and as you see here on the knot board, it's often used to join two lengths of rope together. It's also really easy to tie, and I think that's why it's such a common knot, and I teach it because people sort of expect you to know the square knot, and it can be useful in certain situations. Here's the cautionary part. The square knot should only be used when the two ropes that you're connecting are of the same diameter, the same size ropes. If one rope is thinner than the other, it's very likely or it's very easy for that knot to come out. Okay? So, I'm going to show you how to tie the square knot, keeping in mind, don't use this knot if the ropes are of unequal size. And then I'm going to show you one thing you can do to make it a little bit more secure. But my cautionary point again is that not only do they need to be the same size, even when they are, it's not always the most secure knot. If a square knot comes under tension and then is loosened, under tension and then is loosened, maybe it's bouncing around on the back of a truck or something like that, it's quite likely that this knot can come out. So it's not always the most secure choice. All right, so as I said, we're going to attach two lengths of rope. I actually chose two lengths of rope here. I'm going to tie the square knot. Tying the square knot, I'm going to simply make an X, and I'm going to be careful about how I do this. I'm going to tie it right over the left. So I take the rope in my right hand, and I'm going to put it over the left hand, or over the one I have in my left hand. And then I'm going to wrap just as I would do if I were starting to make an overhand knot. Then I'm going to take the two pigtails I have, and now I'm going to take the one that's now in my left, and I'm going to go over the right. So that's important. We got to go opposite. So I started with the rope in my right hand. It went over the rope in my left hand. Now the rope that winds up in my left hand goes over the rope that's in my right hand. And I do the same exact sort of half and overhand knot and make that X, and now I cinch down tightly. I'll do that one more time, and then I'll show you a way to make this knot a bit more secure. Okay, so this time I'm going to move closer to the camera. Okay, and remember, the secret here is going right over left and then left over right. And alternately, you could start, if you started going left over right, then you'd want to go right over left. So it's just two opposite turns. All right, so I'm going to go right over left, and I've crossed the ropes over, and now I need to do a half a wrap like so. Now, I have, again, two ropes in my hand. I'm going to now switch the order, and the rope that's in my left hand goes over the rope that's in my right hand. Okay? And now to dress it up, I simply cinch it down this way. Okay, I mentioned that there's a way to make this knot more secure, but you can see if this rope comes under tension and it gets loose, it starts to get loose, even though I had it dressed up. So, to make it a bit more secure, and I'm going to give myself a little more running end on either side of this knot. Okay? Okay, so I have a little more rope there. A little more line on this side as well. So, incidentally, what we're looking for when this knot is tied correctly is I should have two interlocking bites. Here's a bite and here's a bite, and those bites are woven through one another. Okay? So there's our knot. It's dressed up and it's fairly tight. To make this knot a little bit more secure, here's a trick I can use. I can simply tie an overhand knot in the running end. Secure the running end to the standing end with an overhand knot on this side, and then I'm going to want to do the same thing on this side. So remember how we tie our overhand knot. That was knot number 2 in our Knots to Know series. And so now this rope is see how it's, if I put it under tension and loosen it, it's much less likely to come out. And I don't have the problem, this overhand knot isn't under too much tension because the tension is really taken up here in the square knot. All right, there you go. The square knot. In this case, with two overhand knots tied on either end to make it a slightly more secure knot. Thanks, folks.